Going for two, kickers are extra, I give them the boot. Ooh, going for two, sit back, relax while I grab me a brew. Ooh, now I'm reclining while putting my time and I'm ready to go. My spine is aligning and much my lineups, my bank account grow. I am so rich, but knowledge is all that I'm leaving it with. Ooh, listen to this, multiple options, how far can I get? Ooh, DFS Dynasty redraft tonight, I'm not finishing last. I'm finishing past any and all, I am looking to last. What else? This spot is popping and I am so locked in and only opening the door when it is opportunity knocking. And all of these spots keep on talking and talking. So what are we talking? What kind of alignment? And running it deep, even players forgotten or came from the bottom or hitting that top end. And this spot is popping, yeah, this spot is popping. And woo! This is the armchair, yeah. Put up your arms, yeah. Sound the alarm, yeah, yeah, yeah. Woo!
What is going on, and welcome to episode 269 of the Armchair Fantasy Show. I'm your host, of course, Jeff Lambert. Follow me on Twitter at JeffLambert77. Of course, we're presented by the Going for Two Live Podcast Network. We're live every Wednesday night on Facebook Live, Twitter, YouTube, and Twitch, syndicated in all major podcast networks, and of course, streaming in the Going for Two app for iOS and Android. If you are on Twitter, our comments are not working on Twitter. If you want to interact with the show, please find us on YouTube. Go to Going for Two Live. Then you can talk to us in the chat. I'm going to introduce my co-host first, Mr. Ryan Steerfoss. What's up, Ryan?
Not much, man. Just happy to be here. Have some great guests tonight and talk football.
Good day. We got a couple more weeks until we're both on vacation. That'll be fun too.
Yeah, having just disappear, or I'll probably end up getting drunk on the beat or drunk at the pool and tweeting stupid things. But either way, it'll be fun.
Good stuff. All right, our first guest tonight. He's been on the podcast a couple of times, Mr. Joe Pisapia. Of course, he's Mr. Fantasy Black Book, host of the FantasyPros podcast. You can follow him on Twitter at Joe Pisapia17. What's up, Joe?
What's up, Jeff? It's good to see you again, my friend. Many years we've done shows together.
Yes, we have.
I love what you've done. Obviously, with the studio behind you, it's very impressive. All the bells and whistles there that you've installed back there. That is definitely not a superimposed backdrop. That is real. That's where Jeff works.
It's the basement of my house. Basement of my house.
It's going very well.
We make the big bucks at Going for Two.
Huge butts. I'm excited to talk football with you guys today.
Good stuff, man. Glad to have you on again. First time guest. This guy, actually, I first discovered him on TikTok, and there's a lot of fantasy football analysts on TikTok. And if you are on TikTok, Tommy Mo does the best fantasy football stuff on TikTok. Of course, he's the VP in content and media producer at Undroppables and host of the 2-on-1 Fantasy Sports. You could follow him at 2-on-1 FFB. What's up, Tommy?
What's up, Jeff? What's up, Ryan? Thanks for having me here, guys. I am pumped to be here for the first time talking to both of you and having Joe here too. Excited to be here. All things at Undroppables. We, the TikTok thing, whatever it takes to get the views and get people to read our content, look at our rankings, whatever brings you in, I'll do it. I'm gonna dance and act silly and just be like a 37-year-old guy on TikTok, doing my thing, having a good time. I mean, but hey, it's working, right? You found me there, so
yep,
I love it.
Absolutely. And I mean what I say too, because I see a lot of those on there, and not to play anybody because they're all doing their thing, but you make it interesting. I mean, you're out there dancing and doing all this stuff, and I'm like, this guy gets it. He knows what TikTok's all about. I like
that's our whole thing here at the Undroppables, just trying to be different. There's lots of fantasy content out there. There's lots of ways to analyze this game, but so we try to just bring a little bit of different entertainment value to it. And like I said, whatever gets you in the door, right? That's my job as the VP of content over there.
Good stuff. And Joe, the Black Book, of course, everyone knows that, but go ahead and tell anybody that doesn't know about the Black Book.
Well, first of all, Tommy revealing his age makes me encourage that maybe it's time for me to get TikTok. I've been fighting it.
I was thinking
I mean, if there's anybody I would think that's meant for that platform, it's clearly someone like me, bald in their early 40s, still trying to get it done. I mean, I think it might be time. Now I'm inspired. Tommy's inspired me. But yeah, the Black Book is out and available over on Amazon. Great group of people is always working on it. One book for all your leagues. That's what we try to do. Nobody has more dynasty coverage than we do. Scott Bogman does a tremendous job of that. Also, nobody has more IDP coverage. We've got league-specific draft strategy chapters. We've got the best player profiles in the business with guys like Andrew Erickson and Derek Brown and Boggs and just a host of other fantastic writers that we have working for us at the Black Book. And it's the 19th version between baseball and football. So either I'm getting old or it's very successful or both. I don't know, but it's great to have it on there, and it's great that it's out there again. And it just updated again for July 9th. So it's refreshed, ready to go, and it's got relative position value, which is, quantified rankings. Rankings are good, tiers are better. Quantified rankings, that's how you create a strategy, and that's how you can approach all your different leagues and all your different formats and all your different scorings. That's the trick.
Yeah, good stuff, man. Good stuff. Whenever I'm talking about the Black Book with any of my friends, I always tell them the story you told me when you first came on, that the year that the Tom Brady book came out, when your Black Book came out, you were actually ranked above Tom Brady's book.
We were ahead of Nick Foles, Tom Brady, Joe Namath. Every August, we're ahead of somebody else that's really far more important in the world of football than I will ever be. But it's that 1 month or 6 week period that makes it all worth it. And it's just a beautiful moment. You screenshot the hell out of that, and then you share it everywhere. But for that one moment in time, I'm famous, and that's enough for me.
Good stuff. All right, fellas. Today's show is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. It's fantasy football with no waivers, no setting lineups, and no worrying about injuries. With their best ball leagues, you can do the fun part, and that's draft. It's like a mock draft you can win money from. Get the Underdog app for iOS or Android. Use our promo code GF2 to get a 100% deposit match up to $100. And then for as low as $3, you can join one of our Going for Two leagues, which we're doing a couple drafts currently. Or you can join the Best Ball Mania 3 contest right now with a top prize of $2 million. Over 10 million total prizes in that contest. Again, use our promo code GF2 and get your deposit match and start winning.
And now, the five 101.
All right, guys, this is how this works. I'm going to give you a category, a non-football related category. You're going to give me your 101 for that category. Joe, we'll go to you first. Give me your 101 fictional character you'd want to meet in real life.
Oh, fictional character I want to meet in real life. How about the smartest man in the universe? How about Rick Sanchez from Rick and Morty? That sounds like a good time, right? Just pick his brain about the universe, just go everywhere. Maybe we'll end up as pickles at the end of the night. Who knows? Anything's possible. That's where I'd go.
Good stuff. Great answer. What about you, Tommy?
Yeah, I was thinking about this one for a while because I'm a big Star Wars nerd. So Yoda definitely came to mind. But when I really, really thought about it, like who I wanted to hang out with, my choice was Hunter S. Thompson's character from Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. Like, I just feel like me and that guy cruising down to Vegas, like that'd be a fantastic time. Like, I know it'll be a little bit crazy, but like if I had to hang out with one person for one solid weekend, it'd probably be that guy. And I know he's a real person. But his character in the movie, like to be fair,
okay,
in the movie, because I know it's, I know he's a real guy, but like that character that weekend.
So you want to hang out with Hunter S. Thompson, who's high off his nuts. That's who you want to hang out with.
I just want to go to Vegas and have a crazy ass time with Hunter. Yes, Joe. I want to go to Vegas, have exactly. There you go.
Make some crazy TikToks in Vegas, I bet.
And I live in Southern California, so that's a 4-hour drive to Vegas. Like, let's do the thing,
Nice.
I'll be your Benicio del Toro.
That's what I want to be. That's what
He's
Samoan. He's supposed to be Samoan, right? And I'll go
nice.
Samoan, and I'm Samoan, so like that's me. Let's go.
Nice, good stuff. All right, Joe, what is your 101 duo?
It's funny. I was just watching this on TV before I came in the office here. I was folding laundry and watching South Park. I think Matt Stone and Trey Parker are just the best. Like, I mean, those guys for like what now 25 years they've been doing that show, and it's always relevant and interesting, and they're very smart and they make really good statements. And it's like the only satire that's left, and always place where you could be horrible and say horrible things and actually have a point behind anything. Yeah. I think it's miraculous. They've been able to be so prolific, and they do these episodes in 6 days and then they churn it out there. Like, those are two dudes I want to be around and hang out with and just kind of soak it up, because the creativity is just so good, and just like to be around the process. I think that would be a cool duo to hang out with.
Awesome. Did you see the new special?
I don't have the Paramount now. It's like the only streaming. It's like I have like a certain thing where it's like, how many streaming networks am I going to have? And at a certain point, when do I cut myself off from this? And it's just, in the words of Rick and Morty, it's, like it's cable with extra steps almost. Like, that's kind of what I feel like all these streaming services are. So I don't have Paramount, and it's killing me. So
I almost cried watching it. Dude,
like, what I figure I'm gonna do in August is I'm gonna do like the 30-day trial and just watch everything, and then watch that Godfather show that they've got on there too, about the making of the Godfather, which I heard is great. So that's probably gonna be my August before I lose my life altogether when the season starts.
Good stuff. What about you, Tommy? What's your 101 duo?
So it's not football related. So I can't say Derek Carr and Devontae Adams, right? I cannot.
Cannot.
Sorry, there, that way.
Yeah,
okay.
I see that.
Yeah. Just had to throw a little bit out there. My duo is Batman and Robin. I actually look for bats for work as like my career. So I'm like the bat guy all the way. I love Batman and Robin. I've watched every single show, cartoon, movie, everything. Batman and Robin,
Nice.
my 101.
Good stuff. All right, let's go 101 intro music. And this one I added back to the sheet because I know Joe's a big wrestling guy. So I wanted to get his intro music here.
We'll be at Raw live at Madison Square Garden Monday night, baby. Me and my daughters. So that should be a good time. There's a couple of different good ones out there. I think I'm going to land on Avenged Sevenfold's Hail to the King. I think I could really make that one work. And it's got that nice refrain where everybody screams hail at you. I feel like that's like a good thing for me. I'll climb up to the top rope. I got it all worked out in my head. As you can tell, this is something that I've thought about more than once. Yeah. So before this question came up, I had several choices, but I think that's the one where I think, you need that pop in the beginning where you hear that riff or that opening where you know exactly who the person is. It's got that. It's got the fun refrain part where everybody can scream hail and throw their hands up at you. I think that all works. I think that's good.
Nice.
Yeah.
Great answer. What about you, Tommy? What's your intro music?
I think Joe just wants to feel the love from the people. Like he just wants people to like, yeah. I'm
actually the least needy person in the universe. I like that. I appreciate the show aspect of stuff. Like you want to involve the audience. Professional wrestling is sports entertainment, just like fantasy sports. You need to involve the audience if you're going to have a good show. Everyone's got to be together in that moment. Otherwise, it's no good.
Absolutely. So mine's similar where it's that first riff kicks it off and you know exactly what it is. And this takes me back to my playing days in college because this is how we kicked off every single kickoff return. And I was on the kickoff return and it was Welcome to the Jungle by Guns N' Roses.
Nice.
And just that sound, that like it just gets you going. I'm kind of getting jacked right now. Like I'm ready to go back on kickoff return and lace it up, but we gotta let those days go. But yeah, that one, if I had to pick one for right now, that would just get me going. Had to run into the wrestling ring and like jackknife Joe off the top rope and do the people's elbow onto him. That's definitely what
you can try. You do know I was a professional fight choreographer for 20 years.
Oh,
true story.
I do not know it.
So we can do this, Tom.
Yeah, let's go.
If you want to make the greatest TikTok of all time,
there it is.
I've got swords at my house.
Yes,
we fly you out. We figure it out. We'll have a good time. We'll get some weapons in there. It'll be awesome. I just want to make a TikTok with Tommy.
I'm trying to have a TikTok right now.
Yeah,
well, that was
make sure to go on for 2 live exclusive. We only us can broadcast it.
Yes,
everyone would come watch that.
Fair enough. There you go.
And quick sidebar, that was one of the fun things about the Scott Fishbowl live draft in LA is I got to do TikToks with a bunch of people that know on Twitter. So absolutely, Joe, I am down to fly out there. Let's make it happen.
Let's go.
Let's do it. Joe, what's your 101 bucket list item?
101 bucket list item. That's tricky. Bucket list, it's funny. Like I like to travel more. Like that's what I'd like to do. Like Bob Harris is my hero because he only covers one sport. So he has all this downtime in February and March, and he's always posting these pictures of him going over. So I'd like to see more places. But bucket list item, I'd like to like live in Italy for a little while. I've been there. I'd like to kind of lose myself there for a little while. Once again, this is like, the Bob Harris in me, where I just want to try to like be more like Bob and like just kind of disappear for a little while and be able to do that. So that would be bucket list. Like, it's one thing to visit there and be a tourist. It's another thing like to be there for a couple months and just kind of, be in Southern Italy or somewhere like that. That would be fun. I like that. I think that'd be a good time.
Awesome. Good answer. What you got, Tommy, for your 101 bucket list item? Oh, I think you're on mute, Tommy.
I kind of want Joe's life now that I'm seeing her listening and talking about all the stuff that he wants to do. Like that sounds fantastic. Yeah, let's go to Italy too. I'm gonna fly there. We're gonna go to Italy. And yeah, Bob Harris. I got to meet him just this past weekend in LA. So that was fantastic too. Love Bob. My bucket list item, had to choose like one thing, one day that would just be a fantastic, perfect day. I think it'd have to be the Golf Augusta National and play where the Masters play and just like make a day of it. That would be, yeah. I could die happy after that day.
Yeah, me and Ryan were just talking before y'all got on about him going to Top Shot, and that's basically the amount of golf that we do is Top Shot. That's it.
I go like twice a year.
That's fun too.
Twice a year normally.
Yeah,
See,
hell
like
yeah.
sports stuff, I feel like, I don't know. I've been lucky. I've had a couple of those sports moments. Like we had a home run derby when I worked at FanDuel in Las Vegas, and I actually got to hit a home run in front of Bo Jackson, who was
Ooh,
like
oh,
sitting there, and
yeah.
I was like, well, does it get much better than this? Like I just put a ball out in dead center field, and I wasn't in the competition. I just jumped in there to hit a couple because I knew I could still do it. So, and Bo Jackson was like, "That was good, man. That was good," and that was all I needed. Like
that was
that's
good. That was your
10-year-old me just lost his mind. Like,
nice.
And then Joe looks at Bo and just breaks the bat over. His
yeah, and
knee.
then I tried to break the metal bat over
Flexes.
my leg and shattered it into a million pieces. It was awesome.
Great. All right, last one here, Joe. Your 101 movie or TV villain.
Let me tell you, man, this has changed because there's been some really great villains in the last couple of years. If you watch the show Turn, the guy who played Captain Simcoe in that, spectacular actor. That is one of the most haunting, horrible characters ever. But after watching the last season of The Boys, I feel like Anthony Starr as Homelander
Oh my god.
has now he's brought
Yes.
he's brought this into a whole other universe where I'm at all times desperately wanting him to do something horrible and at the same time completely horrified at whatever he's going to do next. And he does it with just this ease, and it's just fantastic. And I'm trying not to be prisoner of the moment because there's been some really great villains over the years. Like Thrones had some good villains, but there's something about Anthony Starr and this Homelander character, maybe because he's like Mr. America kind of thing, this Captain America-ish thing, but it's just so terrifying, and he's so just ominous in it at all times. It's just great.
It's that fear of him just snapping at any moment over anything
Any
small.
moment.
Yeah.
It was incredible. It was incredible.
He's gonna play a Marvel villain. I heard they're working with him I guess
God.
the new Avengers they're trying to put together. Like he's supposed to be one of the guys they want to play the villain. If that happens, man, forget. Like this guy does not get enough credit. He should be winning
amazing.
every Emmy for he is so great. This character it doesn't even
That
so
role
amazing.
was one of the best just in general. Not even like just the villain.
Yeah.
He was
Yeah.
so good.
Yeah.
Oh, show's so good. Show's great.
Yeah, the fact
All right,
that he's about to snap, that he's like a sociopath, like that face he puts on, it's just
And then he's like
That's a
talking
great
to
one.
himself in the mirror in that last scene. It's like, oh my God, he's like yelling at himself, like he's having this sociopathic conversation with himself. Oh my God. People, if you haven't watched The Boys, do yourself a favor and sit down and watch The Boys because it is unbelievably good.
Good stuff.
I just haven't seen the like very end, so I'm glad you didn't actually.
I'm not gonna no
spoilers
spoilers.
there. Yeah, appreciate
It's worth it.
appreciate
Let me tell you. Have you
I
gotten
can't
to
wait.
Hero-gasm yet? Have you gotten to that episode?
Yes, yes. Yeah.
I thought the one after that was even more upsetting personally, but I'll let you.
I thought the first episode was the most upsetting.
Oh, the first episode at that party that blew my mind. Like I couldn't even like I think we all know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say it here
Yeah.
in the program. I want to keep
Yeah.
Jeff and Ryan on the air, but it
Yeah,
was it was something.
Yeah, don't get us
Don't
canceled.
need canceled tonight.
Yeah, Inside Out. That's all I'm going to say. Inside Out.
So I mean, how do I follow that? I feel like
You can't, Tommy.
my
You can't.
villain's so tame because it's Darth Vader, like that again, Star Wars nerd, like
But
that
it's
was the best
classic.
one I could think
Yeah.
because it's classic, right?
Yeah.
But it compared to Homelander, I don't know. I actually don't even know who would win in that fight. I feel like Homelander would somehow.
I think Homelander wins every fight because he's out of his gourd.
Yeah.
Just-
And there's still a little bit of Darth Vader that is a little bit good, right? Like he doesn't die totally as a villain, but again, Star Wars nerd. So I that's my choice.
Good stuff. All right. So tonight, guys, what we're going to do, we're going to be basically doing division previews. We do them different than everybody else. We try to do them as a mock draft. You can only take players from that particular division. It allows us to touch on some of the well-known guys, and also get down to those deep dive guys that are in the late second round. Let's go ahead and jump into it.
Attention, everyone. Let's mock draft.
All right. So first up, we're going to do the AFC East. And Joe, you have the 101 here. So who are you going with? And let me preface this. I should have told you beforehand, but it's going to be a super flex tight end premium. So it's going to add enough players into the pool that we can use them all.
And roster construction does not matter.
Oh,
Yeah.
good. Okay.
Yeah, like
Awesome.
everyone always asks us that. It doesn't matter because it would make
Well,
Nobody wants-
I'm equal parts excited that it's super flex because it's my favorite format, and equal parts miserable because I think tight end premium is the dumbest thing ever. So this will be great. This is gonna be so much fun. Let's start with Josh Allen. That was easy. I am somebody that is willing to go early, even in single quarterback leagues, on Josh Allen because he is a league winning player, and I think that's important. And yes, you can wait on quarterback. I think it's one of those things where if Josh Allen lasts into the third round, I've seen, depending on the room you're in, some people are super disciplined in terms of, well, we're not going to take quarterbacks early. Great. If you're going to give me Josh Allen the fourth round, I'm going to crush you because I'm able to get the 3 players ahead of him that are going to make you cry. And I think that the concept is you have to have a team and construct a team that's going to be good every single week. And when you have a player like Josh Allen who controls all the scoring in his offense, whether he's throwing touchdowns, running touchdowns, like everything goes through Josh Allen, like Lamar Jackson's like that too. There's certain guys that control so much of their own scoring. That's huge, and I think that's something that is undervalued, underappreciated. And he's the first guy in 5 years that's been the back-to-back QB1. That's been a tough thing to accomplish. You've had a different guy there the last few years, and Josh Allen's been that dude. So this is easy, man. Even in Superflex, like I understand taking Jonathan Taylor 1, but I would probably go with Josh Allen and then worry about running back later.
I think he was the most taken in the Scott Fish Bowl too. As the 101 was Josh Allen. You pretty much saw him.
I think in mine, he was 1-1 in mine, and I took Herbert 2 in Fish. So that's where
you can't go wrong with that one either.
Mm-hmm.
Tommy, what's your 102 here?
Well, yeah, now they made it easy for Joe to get Josh Allen with the super flex. It would change if it wasn't super flex, but because it is and I do like to wait on quarterbacks like Joe was saying, especially in one quarterback formats. But yeah, I have to go with Tua here. I have to go with my man Tua. It's a little bit of a homer pick, but again, with the addition of Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle's fantastic last year, Mike Gesicki's. It is what it is, but he's been there and takes tight ends a while to really mature. So hopefully he really turns it on this year, and just the whole offense is humming with the addition of the cheetah. So yeah, Tua all day for me. You got that rushing upside too. So yeah, that's my pick.
Yeah, we talked about him on our last show too a little bit, and it's sort of a make or break season for him. Like he has all the tools now. Everything is there. He needs to perform now, or else
no excuses.
Yep, exactly. All right, Ryan, you got the 103 here.
I was really hoping you made my decision easy. Eric says between 2 guys, but I'm going to Stephon Diggs, man. He is just the most forgotten elite player year in, year out. He's good. He's in one of the best offenses in football. Obviously, attached to Josh Allen, who Joe was just talking about, and everybody knows. But he's locked for 1,200 yards, 8 to 12 touchdowns. I know what I'm going to get. I'm starting week in, week out, never worrying. And there's 0 questions there. I love Diggs this year, and as long as he's attached to Josh Allen, all in.
Yep. I love that pick there. I'm sure Joe was hoping he'd come back to him at the 104 there, but Joe, who you got?
That was a pipe dream. That was a pipe dream. This division is not exactly the thrilling one when it comes to. So I mean, I expected the Diggs and probably the Tua to be gone.
At least you weren't here for the AFC South, man.
That is true.
Feel blessed. It was miserable.
That is true. Sometimes those are the most fun shows. Well, for me, this is pretty easy, and I'm probably going to upset a lot of people. But I'm going to take Jalen Waddle, yes, over Tyreek Hill. And I know that surprises a lot of people too. I think Jalen Waddle, again, the younger player. When you look at Tyreek Hill, lost a step last year. It's in the metrics. You can see it. He only finished as a wide receiver 1 half the time, and that was with Patrick Mahomes as a quarterback. Patrick Mahomes to Tua is a downgrade, people. Just want to shake everybody and remind them that's a downgraded quarterback. No matter what you think of Tua, he is not Patrick Mahomes. He is never going to be Patrick Mahomes. Not in his wildest dreams will that ever happen. So you have to kind of balance back and say, okay, what do I know? What can I identify in this offense? And I can identify what Jalen Waddle does. Plus, if indeed Mike McDaniel brings over the Shanahan style, the Shanahan style is quick slants over the middle, and that's something Jalen Waddle can do for years. On you, and they're going to find ways to get Tyreek Hill the ball. Tyreek Hill is going to have some great one-off games, but I think on that consistent floor basis, I think Jalen Waddle is going to be a better weekly investment. So I think he's going to catch 100 balls again. I have no problem with that whatsoever. And to me, I think Waddle is that guy, and I have them right neck and neck. So like they're literally right next to each other in my ranks, but I will still take Waddle over Tyreek Hill because that consistency, rather than the big time, like maybe there's a couple weeks, maybe Tyreek Hill wins me 3 weeks. I'd rather have Jalen Waddle help me, win 9. I think that's more where I stand.
Yeah, that's a good call. And I was confused by this comment here from Mr. Scampers. It's just 3 penguins.
It's a penguin. They waddle.
I realized waddles. Yeah, it waddles. I was confused. Like, what does that mean? All right, Tommy, you got the 105.
Yeah, I actually agree with Joe. I was trying to would have stacked Waddle with Tua there. Wide receivers going to new systems don't always do well. I forgot what the stat is, but I remember seeing it. So with Tyreek Hill still being there, it seems like I should grab him. But my guy in this year's draft, we're big on rookies here at the Undroppables. I watched all the rookies and did too much hours of analysis and tape review, and I fell in love with Breece Hall. I really, really did. And I don't feel exactly the same way about him that I did about Jonathan Taylor as far as what Jonathan Taylor is going to do and what Breece Hall is going to do. But I have that feeling, like as far as how much I really, really like this kid, and I really like how he played at Iowa State. I really like his potential going to the Jets. So yeah, give me Breece Hall.
And the Jet line's improved. I still don't
Very
believe
much
the quarterback. So. But the line is definitely improved. That's for sure.
Well, the great thing is that, he doesn't have to be good. Just hand it off to Breece Hall. There you go.
Yeah.
Yes, that is true. I mean, you got to be a little good because otherwise you stack, everybody in the box and you stop Breece Hall. But you got to be able to throw a little bit here and there. But I feel like Zach Wilson's going to be next in the long line of forgotten Jet quarterbacks like Browning, Nagel, and all those guys we could throw in there.
All right, Ryan, at the 106 here, you going Zach Wilson after that?
No, I like Zach Wilson.
After that glowing review on Zach Wilson.
No, I'm taking the last guy before there's a significant drop off. Who both you guys just passed out was Tyreek Hill. I mean, yes, he's having a huge QB downgrade, but he's still going to produce. We've seen him produce with Alex Smith. We got a year or two before we would have to worry about him, and that speed going away. But everything we've seen, he looks great, even just in stupid workouts and OTAs. And I think they'll be able to find ways to get him open. And the Tua deep balls very much just over-exaggerate how bad it is. I think he'll be just fine.
All right, and I agree, Ryan. I think there's a little bit of a drop-off after Tyreek Hill. So, Joe, you get that drop-off here at the 107.
I know, at the 107. Now the world is my oyster here in this magnificent division. There's two wide receivers. Again, I'm very wide receiver heavy here. You can see every FantasyPros draft I do. I had the 3 pick today, and I took Justin Jefferson because I can, and I'm going to. I'm going to go ahead and take the plunge here with Gabriel Davis. I like Elijah Moore a lot, but again, I have to come back to the offense and the ecosystem and who's the quarterback and how many points are they going to score. And I was a Gabe Davis guy last year before it was cool. Like I was the guy taking Gabe Davis last pick in every draft. And, I was miserable and had to cut him in every league because, he wasn't doing anything because stupid Emmanuel Sanders and stupid Cole Beasley were doing things. And it was so frustrating to watch, especially because the year before in his rookie season, you saw him get these red zone opportunities. You saw towards the end of the year, things really started to click. And I thought, oh, here we go. This is the guy. This is the red zone guy. Everyone's on Diggs and he's going to catch a ton of touchdowns. And then they just didn't give him the ball. And then finally, it's like they came to their senses and they're like, okay, we got to start getting this guy the football. And then as they did, he was great in the second half. And then all of a sudden in the playoffs, forget it. I mean, just blew the doors off, had some huge games. So I don't need him to have all that. But I do believe at this point he is set up to be the second guy in a very good offense. And that's something that, look, if we value T. Higgins, we should be valuing Gabe Davis. T. Higgins is a better talent than Gabriel Davis, without a doubt. But at the same time, you have to use that same kind of logic and put it onto some of these better offenses. So Gabe Davis has that opportunity. So I'll take a little bit more risk because I have Waddle already, even though roster construction, you said, doesn't matter. I can't break it. I can't break these habits.
Yeah, that's a great pick there. And I'm like you. I was on Gabe Davis before he became huge. I actually got him in my rookie draft, undrafted actually after the rookie draft, and held on to him on my taxi squad. So he panned out for me pretty well, and hopefully he has his breakout season this year. All right, Tommy, you got the 108.
Jeff, isn't that a fantastic feeling when some guy in your taxi squad that you kind of forgot was there just breaks out and pull him right back on and throw him into the game? Yeah, that's fantastic. And our guy at Undroppables, Jax Falcone, is like, would not stop talking about Gabriel Davis. So I think it's a fantastic pick. We're all in on him there here as well. And I want to, I'm just going to draft for talent and value and go Elijah Moore. I just hate that now I'm like getting so locked into the Jets offense and relying on it so much. But like, I love Elijah Moore. Everyone I talk to loves
Zach Wilson.
Man, hopefully the off-field issues like gets his mojo back. little cougar hunting or something like helps out. I don't know, but let's hope that the offense turns on. But regardless, Elijah Moore is a fantastic talent. Does reception perception by Matt Harmon tracked him super phenomenally. So yeah, he's a guy that I'm super high on. And even though I'm starting to build with Jets offense, can't pass up that value and that talent.
Hey, I almost took him myself, but again, the tiebreaker is the offense, right? It's like I love Elijah Moore, but I hate Zach Wilson. So how do I not take the guy with the MVP? That is just a really hard thing to do. It's just and I think that's a problem. Is we fall in love with the talent of players, but oftentimes, and Harmon's big on this too. I know it's like we miss the easy, the simple, which is it a good offense? Are they gonna have more scoring opportunities? Are they gonna have the ball more? Are they gonna move the ball more efficiently? If the answer is yes to all those questions, then that's the route you've got to go in favor, and you have to pay attention to that. It's very important. And as analysts and talent evaluators to a certain extent, we want to love the talent and push the talent, but sometimes the talent is in bad situations where they can't overcome it.
Yep, absolutely. That's why I can't stop drafting Dallas Cowboys players, because that high-powered offense, it's all volume.
100%. Yeah, it's a bunch of those offenses. Yeah,
where Zeke's falling now in drafts, it's like how do you pass it up? It's the 5th or 6th round. I know it's Zeke and he's Tony Pollard, all that, but it's still Zeke and it's still a great offense. So he's going to get something.
Yep, good call. All right, Ryan, you got the 109. I think after that Elijah Moore pick, it gets a little bit. This is another teardrop right here. I think.
Yeah. Good luck, Ryan.
I'm gonna take Mr. McCorkle Jones here. I think we saw the flashes last year. He has more continuity in the offense. Almost everybody's coming back. The offensive line's improved a little bit. They let him throw the ball 525 times last year. That includes that game against the Bills. For how many times did he throw? 3 times, something like that? 3
times, yeah.
Was it three pass attempts? So that's putting him that 550 mark. So that's volume. And I trust another year in Belichick's offense. It's going to click for him. So it's going to come around, and I'm willing to take that chance at super flex. Because worst case scenario, he doesn't lose me anything because he's accurate and doesn't make mistakes.
Yeah.
Best case,
he's a good quarterback. He's a
very good quarterback.
Man, I had Mac Jones ahead on Zach Wilson and my list, and I try to watch as much college football as I can because it's part of my job. And of all the places for him to land, this was the one. This was the one that was so perfect because it's an offense that's built about efficiency and getting rid of the football and being in the right place at the right time and being smart with the football and understanding, the timing of things. And it fits him to a T. And there were times last year it was frustrating as a Patriots fan not to watch him throw the football more downfield because he can, because you saw it in the preseason, you saw these flashes, and they wouldn't push the ball. I hope they don't do that this year. I hope they take the cuffs off him a little bit and let him do that. And look, Devontae Parker's an improvement. I still wish they had a real game-changing wide receiver. If they gave him that, I think he could be very good. But I think Mac there is great.
Yeah, I agree 100%. I think I would have taken Mac there as well. And let's see, Joe, you're at the 110 here.
I am. Oh, what a wonderful group here. It's funny. There's the running backs that are left now is probably where we have to go. I'm not going to go with Zach Wilson. I'm just not going to do it. Can't be done. And most of the passes he completed last year were to the Patriots secondary. But I will say, even though I love Ramondre Stevenson, I've still got to take Damian Harris first over him. And it's because this is his last hurrah. They don't give second contracts to running backs in New England. That's not how it works. Trust me, I've been watching the Patriots since 1992. That's my fandom began far before the Belichick era. I went through Pete Carroll before I got to Belichick. Okay, just to be clear, I'm not a bandwagon Patriot fan, but the Belichick system is very clear. This is a guy that's going to touch the football a ton. He's going to have opportunities. He's going to have scoring opportunities. He's going to have a ton of touchdowns. Once Cam Newton was out of town, the knock on Damian Harris was he doesn't score touchdowns. Well, that's because every single goal line play was designed for Cam Newton, and whether it failed or didn't, they would keep going back to him. And it was frustrating to watch. And Damian Harris is going to be around there. And look, Ramondre is one of the better secondary running backs here on a team to draft in the entire draft. But I'm still going to take Damian Harris first. I still think he's going to approach 1,000 yards. I think he's going to have at least a dozen touchdowns again. And I think he's going to be a good value as an RB2. I really do.
Yeah, I like that call. Tommy, you got the 111.
Oh, yay. I'm going to do it. I'm going to pull the trigger.
There it goes. You have all the Jets, don't you? You have literally all of them.
give them all.
Nothing like that Jet stack.
Nothing like the Jets. There's literally nothing like the Jets stack. That's right, Joe. Nothing.
You
like
know somebody got it in best ball. There's somebody on Underdog who has it.
But Tommy, the funny part is, if you look at the Jets, like they had a good draft. They're improving across the board in the
They're
personnel.
on the rise.
But if you would just drop a real life quarterback into this team, this is Wilson's a phenomenal talent. Elijah Moore is good. Breece Hall is good. You're like, wow, it's all there. But you don't have the guy to run it. It's gonna be ugly. I think.
He ended the season good though. Like he had a nice little.
Did he?
Better
comparatively.
Better.
Well, it's like all these people were really excited about Davis Mills. I'm like, just because he wasn't awful doesn't make it good. Like, let's not get too excited.
It's all relative.
He had 8 total touchdowns, the 1 interception in the last 5 games. That's an improvement.
It is an improvement, but like, I don't know. I just how he got selected over Trey Lance, I'm still trying to figure that all out. I don't know.
Yeah, and I'm trying to like weed through his stats to try to figure out something good to say about him. So I'm just gonna go with he's part Hawaiian. So I got the Samoan guy and I got the Hawaiian guy, and we're just gonna rock the islands and I'm gonna represent for my Pacific Islander people, and just stack it all day with all the Jets. Because what else are you gonna do at this point? And honestly, if we're looking at points, like at this point in the draft, who's left? Zach Wilson's going to get the most points. If it's just super flex across the board, I'm the only guy with 2 quarterbacks, so
yep,
I win. No, I'm just kidding.
I don't know. I kind of like my Josh Allen, Gabe Davis.
Oh, I love that.
That waddle there too. I feel pretty good about this one.
I'm all boomer bust over here.
That's right.
All right, Ryan, you got the back-to-back here, the 112 and the 201.
Oh man, this is rough now.
Now,
I mean, it's been rough, but it's getting rough. It's getting rougher. I'm taking Dawson Knox reluctantly. I think just the fact he's attached to Josh Allen, and while they have a ton of talent everywhere, there's no real big-bodied guys other than him. So I like that for his touchdown upside. And we do have our tight end premium here, which I know is not a big fan. I really don't love it either, but it gives him a little bit of upside there. So I'm going to take Dawson Knox. And I'm going to take Jacoby Meyer. We chase targets in fantasy football, and he's still going to be 130 target guy because he's Mac Jones' security blanket. So I'm going to go chase targets on him and get a nice floor play, even though floor play is super boring. But there's not a ton of upside. There's not a ton of upside here either left.
If he can just catch a few touchdowns, he might actually be, a middling number 2 receiver. But the touchdowns thing is the only thing that's holding him back. Otherwise, he's getting everything else that we want in fantasy.
Yeah.
All right, Tommy, back to you at the 202.
Oh yeah, this is when it's really, really interesting. This is where nobody is excited about who they're picking here. Looking at this running back room and this list and who's available. I think I'm gonna have to go with at least he's a starter and he's tied to Josh Allen. Give me Devin Singletary.
Yeah.
We got James Cook there now. Zach Moss coming back. Don't expect him to have the exact amount of volume that he's had, which hasn't been that great to begin with. But if he can at least average, 150 touches rushing and maybe 50 targets, then it's still worth the value at this point in the draft as well. At this point, I like him more. As much as I like James Cook as a prospect, it's still his first year. Devin's still the guy. He's going to come back. He's the most familiar with the offense, most comfortable. Josh Allen as well. I'll take Devin here. And I'm not thrilled about it, but I think he can still do something and put up some numbers.
Yeah, I actually like Singletary because I think what he's dropped so much in ADP and your regular drafts that you're getting him at a decent value. And if you look what he did at the end of last year with the volume he was getting, if he gets similar volume to that, maybe cut out some of the receptions because I think those are James Cook's job, but Singletary actually had more red zone attempts than Josh Allen did. So, I mean, we always poo-poo like, oh, Allen's taking all the red zone, the end zone touchdowns. But Singletary still had a decent amount. So I think he's actually a pretty decent value right now. All right, Joe, you get the 203.
Singletary is one of these guys like Harris where the reason I'm so heavy early on in wide receiver because I'm taking A.J. Dillon, I'm taking Damian Harris, I'm taking Singletary. I'm taking all these guys that I still think are going to be productive enough. And they cost me a lot less to find out. And in terms of injury risk, I mean, they have the same as every other running back for the most part. So I feel like there's that value there. Breece Hall is kind of Travis Etienne. Like all these guys are kind of, they're floating in that third-ish kind of round, 3-4, and then you can go a little later with Harris and some of these other guys, and Singletary always floating around late. And I love the talent of James Cook. Like, he is faster. He can catch the football better than Singletary, but at the same time, I just don't know, how quickly, like Tommy was saying, is he going to acclimate to things? Is he going to be more of a second-half player that kind of emerges and figures things out? I love him as a dynasty prospect, but redraft is a little tougher, I feel like. So I'm going to go ahead and take Ramondre Stevenson here and just go ahead and just take all of the Patriots backfield because I can. And I think there's this is another guy that I would, again, I don't believe in zero RB. To me, that's called just lazy. Like, that's called, I don't have a plan. So I think the plan is, if you're going to take wide receivers early and often, go ahead and start taking these guys like Stevenson that have upside, especially could be very good in a backfield if they get that backfield to themselves because of injury. Khalil Herbert is another one of those names that come to mind too, that's just free in drafts. And you saw last year, you give him 15, 20 carries, the guy can do it. So he looked better doing it, in my opinion, than David Montgomery quite a bit last year. So there's certain guys out there like that. And those are the kind of running backs I want on my bench. So I'm going to go ahead and take Ramondre Stevenson here.
Yeah, that's a great pick. And it's a good point on Khalil Herbert too. I do think he's even the metrics, if you look at him, he's better than David Montgomery.
Passes the eye test and the metrics were better too on some of those things.
Ryan, 204.
I'm so happy because I messed up with my Jacoby Myers pick because I really wanted Garrett Wilson. I just somehow going through this list missed him. I love the talent of Garrett Wilson. He was my wide receiver one in the draft. Whatever you say about Zach Wilson, he's the kind of receiver who can work well with the QB who struggles because he's so good running after the catch. He's so creative in open field. He's explosive. I think he's the whole package. He has the draft capital. It's all there. It's just how quick he can click with Josh or with Zach Wilson. But I love the talent, and I'm real happy I got him there to make up for my Jacoby Myers mistake.
So yeah, I thought you'd go Wilson on the last pick. It was a surprise to me.
Sometimes, like the order, I just miss people because.
Well, you got him anyway,
order is
so it's the best of all worlds.
Out of them. The order in the sheet, just the order that I came up with them. I went team by team in my head, and that's where I wrote the names down. So there's no ranking, there's no nothing. It's just how I thought.
And he didn't have the time to write Stevenson. He just wrote Ramondre. Just people.
But the harder of the two names.
He's got one name like Shakira. Like it's just.
Well, and he didn't even spell it. He didn't even spell it.
Right. Yeah, I noticed that too.
Oh yeah, there's no A's there.
He just gave up. He couldn't spell Ramondre, and he just said, screw it.
All right, Tommy, you got the 205 here.
The 205. Let's thank you, Ryan, for drafting a New York Jets player. Just keep them away from me at this point. I keep wanting to go back.
Out there.
I know. I keep looking.
I was hoping you took them just because it'd be funny.
At this point, I just should. I just should. Like, I'm just going to draft the whole Jets team and just see how it goes. But no, give me a different stack. I still have Tua, but give me Mike Gesicki and stack him with Tua. Mike, say what you want to. It's been up and down, but again, he's coming in to that tight end prime years. He's starting to get a little bit older. He's been there. It's kind of a make or break it for him as well. Hopefully he can still get at least 100 targets with the addition of Hill and Waddle there. But if he could push up, that touchdown receptions a little bit, and get some touchdown upside, then he's definitely worth it. But at this point in the draft too, I'll take that stack and at least have some sort of upside there.
I like it.
I think that Hill's addition there helps make that offense better. And if you have a better offense, that's going to get him red zone opportunities.
Yeah.
So I like that.
Yeah, definitely. All right, where are we at? 206, Joe.
So do I go with one of the many, many running backs in Miami? Because, when you have 6 running backs, you have none. That's really typically the adage. Or do I go ahead and just swing for the fences? And I think I'll swing for the fences with James Cook, and we'll see. We'll see what happens here. He is a very exciting player, and I think there's a path for him. But the problem is I still think Singletary sees more volume on a weekly basis. But look, Singletary has proven he's had his injuries as well. And, he's far from perfect. I think he's better than people give him credit for. And he's been more explosive, I think, at times than people give him credit for, too. But I think that James Cook is a perfectly good selection here. And it's tempting to go ahead and take Chase Edmonds thinking that's going to be the guy. But I'm just so terrified of this weird carousel, and at the end, like, no one's going to be right, I feel like, with Miami.
Yeah, I'm with you at that Miami backfield. It's going to be a crapshoot, to say the least. And the James Cook thing, the only reason why I think he wouldn't go any higher is I don't think Josh Allen is a check down quarterback. Josh Allen's check down is to throw it as far down the field as he possibly can. Right. It feels like but James Cook, I think, still gets plenty of opportunities in that offense, and he'll still be a decent running back, especially at the point in the draft right now where we're at with these guys on the board. There's not much left to choose from. All right, Ryan, you got the 207 here.
I'm taking Hunter Henry. He had 9 touchdowns last year with Mac having his rookie season. And he's still the best red zone threat they have. So I'm going to take him there just because I can't see anybody else producing 600 yards, 9 touchdowns who's left on this board or even coming close. So I'm going to take him here. I do like his upside a lot because if you're not going to get volume, I'd rather have the guy who I know is going to get touchdowns.
Yeah. And with the tight ends too, I mean, that's what you're really looking for is touchdowns. You catch 6, 7, 8 touchdowns, and you're going to be a top 12 tight end most of the time. All right, Tommy, you're at the 208.
Don't take much.
208.
Yeah.
Gosh. So
man, now
so
as we're into this, I can now understand how awful that AFC South show was.
We were at this point in the first round.
Like, yeah.
I don't love. I love this player at one time. It was a long time ago when this guy was a wide receiver 1. But he's had that potential before in the past. So let's just take a shot on a 1-year guy heading to a new situation where hopefully he can turn his career around. I know he's old, but we're doing redraft. We're not talking dynasty here. So Devontae Parker in the New England Patriots has some real potential upside there because who else do they got to throw the ball to that's that fantastic? Why not give it to a veteran that's fantastic at route running and has good hands? And as long as he can stay healthy and he's ready to prove himself. He's that kind of guy that gets a chip on his shoulder and wants to show that he's still got it. So I'll take Devontae Parker for this year only.
Yeah, I like that. That was a very underrated move by the Patriots, I think, is getting Parker.
It was. I hope he plays more than 6 games, but yeah.
Yes.
Like that's the only concern always with Parker. But he's better than he gets credit for. So we shall see if maybe just some better usage. But again, it's not what I was hoping for. When the draft that had Jamison Williams in it and a lot of other wide receivers were very exciting. Tyquan Thornton was not the draft pick I was hoping for. Just put that out there. Not what I was looking for. Yeah.
All right.
No, watch Tyquan Thornton be awesome. I know I'm not going to draft him.
I was just going to say, it's 209. You taking Tyquan Thornton here?
No, I'm not. I'll go ahead and now that I've got Stevenson and Cook, I'm just going to keep building out these running backs. Then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take Chase Edmonds because I can. So, and maybe he's the guy. Chase Edmonds right before he got hurt last year. It's funny. I think I jinxed him. It was my fault because I actually said on a podcast, I was like, man, that's for 2 weeks in a row, he was so good. And I thought, man, maybe I do understand why they kept saying, the coaching staff was saying, we believe he could be a starting running back in the NFL. He had 2 back-to-back games before he got hurt where he just looked magnificent. And I was like, wow, Chase Edmonds really could do this maybe. And then he got hurt. And then James Conner scored 18,000 touchdowns, and that was the end of things. But maybe I hate this running back room. I can't stress this enough. And the one that really bugged me was the Sony Michel edition, because that's the one guy that's like a real 3-down back that you can make the case for. And that just frustrated the hell out of me. But I'm going to go ahead and chase Edmonds and just hope for the best. I don't believe in Mostert. I got no time for him. Gaskin, I got no time for. But it's the Sony Michel one that really sticks in my craw. Like I did not like that addition to this roster, and that made me worry about Edmonds. But I'm going to do it anyway here.
All right, Ryan, your last pick here at the 210.
It's the man Joe just talked about. It's Sony Michel. It's trying to find something different in that offense where he's not really the speed guy like the rest. He has that short down yardage. He can convert third downs. He can add a little passing game. He's their red zone runner because he has more power. So I'm going to take Michel there. He's a boring grinder, but you know what? That can produce. Like he could get 200 carries at 3.9 a pop, but it's still 200 carries at 3.9. Like it's still somewhat fantasy relevant.
Yeah. Tommy, your last pick here at the 211.
Oh, who's left? Let's see. And Joe mentions Myles Gaskin. I loved Myles Gaskin coming out. I feel like I was the only
too,
one
but I just
love Myles Gaskin. I got to see him play live when he was at Washington, and I fell in love with the kid. And I liked that 1 year. That was fantastic. I definitely touted it and took a bunch of victory laps on that one. But for my last pick, let's just insulate my running back because he's a rookie and he's new and he might get hurt, or he definitely isn't going to play all the time. He's not going to be a bell cow. Michael Carter still has some potential to work in the passing game as a third down back. His juke rate last year was great at 30.1%. And so he's making the best of his opportunities. And I think that, he's going to look at Breece Hall coming in and not just roll over and give him the job. I think he's going to compete. He's that kind of guy. And with my last pick, let's just, handcuff my running back just to be safe.
I like it. Joe, close it out at the 212.
There's two guys I'm contemplating here, if you could believe it. Jameson Crowder is interesting to me, but I just worry he might just be done at this point. I mean, he's been around a long time. Like he's been playing so long. I was still in radio. That's how long he was, and that was a long time ago. I think I'm gonna go ahead with Kendrick Bourne instead. And Kendrick Bourne was, the knock on Kendrick Bourne was it's unsustainable. Like you can't keep catching 5 balls and 1 for a touchdown or 4 balls and 1 for a touchdown, except that he did. And he did it for almost every week. And it was kind of crazy. And Kendrick Bourne, I liked him when he played for San Francisco. I thought he was an underutilized asset. I was actually the only person probably on the planet that was excited when the Patriots signed him. Like not like Tyquan Thornton excited, but excited. And I wanted to see, Kendrick Bourne used a little bit more, but look, he was efficient. He was effective. It's not great out there on this board. So I'm going to go ahead and take Kendrick Bourne, and that's fine by me.
All right. Good stuff. That finishes out the AFC East. We're going to skip the live read because we are running a little long here. So let's just jump right into the NFC East.
Attention, everyone. Let's mock draft.
And Tommy, you're at the top here at the 101 for the NFC East.
Ooh, all right. This is actually a fun division. We actually have some guys I'm excited about a little bit more. And we're going super flex still, right? So, give me Dak. Nice. Started off strong.
That's an easy pick right there, I think.
Easy pick, solid offense coming back, ready to prove that he's still got it. Love his wide receiver core. Love that offense. Yeah, I think that's the number one for me right here.
Good stuff. Joe, you got the 102.
You sure you don't want me to do that read for you? I mean, I do this stuff all day. And just bang that out for you real quick. You say what, Jeff?
Go ahead, Joe.
You want to do it? All right. Are you tired of vague and misleading injury reports costing you games? Well, Going for Two's own injury analyst, Dr. James Ferretti, my people, the Italians, he wants to help you. We all do. With his book, Injuries Suck, but Your Fantasy Team Doesn't Have to. The doc will show you a clear approach to player injuries, media reports, and coach speak, as well as how to anticipate and act quickly when injuries strike. Available for purchase on Amazon after you get the Fantasy Black Book, of course, or use the link on his Twitter profile at TFSDoc. Stop guessing, start winning right now with Injuries Suck, but Your Fantasy Team Doesn't Have to.
Like nice. I'm gonna clip that, and I'm just gonna have you do it every time.
That'll be $150
every time.
Yeah, Tommy's right. I should get a royalty on that bad boy.
Absolutely.
That was great. The doc's gonna love that.
Hold read. I didn't even read it. I just saw it said live read. That's just all day. This is what I do. All right, so I'm up. Is that what's happening? All right.
Yep.
I'm super flex still, right? You didn't change the format on me.
Yep. Same thing.
All right. Well, let's take Jalen Hurts, and you spelled his name wrong, so I guess you know.
I think it auto corrected to that. I'm gonna claim that auto correction.
Okay. All right. Whatever, Jeff. All right. I'll take Jalen Hurts because it's super flex. I'm very tempted to take CeeDee Lamb instead, but because it's super flex, I'm gonna take Jalen Hurts, who I don't love as a real life quarterback, but I can't deny the fantasy value of Jalen Hurts. It's crazy not to. Yeah.
Agreed. Ryan, you got the 103, and I have a feeling you're going to go with the guy that Joe may have just mentioned.
Yeah, it's easy. I mean, he had 1,100 yards last year, and they have a wide receiver with 104 targets leaving, and they're attached to this awesome offense. What's there not to like? It's simple. Doesn't need to overcomplicate. He's good and a great offense.
Good stuff. Tommy, 104.
Oh, you took my guy. Oh, dang. That was going to be easy for me. Gosh, now I'm kind of going back and forth on a couple of running backs here. I mentioned Zeke earlier. Still like that potential that he's got, even with Tony Pollard there. And a lot of people have been fading Antonio Gibson, but I kind of like give me Zeke. Let's just stick with the offense. I'm one of those guys that like I just can't get past. I can't get over like good running backs that are still there. Like I still like Saquon Barkley a lot. I like these guys are elite for a reason, and I have a hard time just like I get if they're getting older. I get if they're been hurt. But that talent just doesn't disappear. You know, that he's the most familiar with that offense. He's going to eat. Yeah, Tony's going to get his, but Zeke's always going to get his as well. And we know he's going to get touchdowns. He's going to be involved, and it's a high-powered offense. So I probably could wait, but I don't think he'll be there by the time he comes back to me. So that's the other thing, too. So I'll definitely take Zeke now.
All right. Zeke at the 104. Joe, you got the 105.
I am running to the podium and handing in the card for Saquon Barkley here because – look, he has the ability to finish as a top 3 back. And if they would just, get him the ball outside, he's not a between, as big as he is, he's not a between the tackles runner. It was never a strong suit. Not even in Penn State, it wasn't his strong suit necessarily. It was on like lesser defenses that you could just run over them, but not when he played like the better teams. So, I mean, I understand why he's discounted. He should be discounted, but I think in those leagues where you're trying to look for picks that could win you leagues, when you get Saquon Barkley late, it's one of those things where, look, you take the shot. If it pays off, it's awesome. But you're not paying that, 106 price tag anymore for him. You're not paying a first round price tag for him. And some drafts he lost to the 3rd round because people are just terrified. Yep. And I get it, and I understand why they are. But I think that you have to look at the upside. And it's funny, people are willing to take the upside with Christian McCaffrey and even Derrick Henry too. But yet with Saquon Barkley, they're not. And I always think that's kind of funny. Like of all the 3, he's the cheapest. And I can go ahead and get all my wide receivers in the first 2 rounds. And then maybe Barkley slips to me. Maybe, I don't know, in the 3rd. It's possible. I've seen stranger things happen. So I love Saquon. I'll take him. Let's go. And let's hope that Brian Daboll can actually put something that looks like an actual NFL offense out there on the field for the Giants.
Agreed.
I got him 403 in the Scott Fish Bowl.
Wow.
I got him in the 4th round too. It's funny you said that.
I felt like theft.
I got him in the 4th round also. I took Herbert, Chase, DeAndre Swift, and Saquon Barkley. Those are my first 4 picks.
It's a pretty Chase foursome right there.
Yeah, and it's funny because like you look at the value in there, and I'm like, I understand it's super flex. I understand all like the weird things and stuff like that, but it's the 4th round. In a thing like that too, where you're trying to be upside, responsibly different.
Yep.
Saquon Barkley in the 4th round is the kind of pick that if he has a top 5 running back season, that's if him and DeAndre Swift do what they're capable of, holy crap. Like that is something that could be fantastic in that kind of format. And I still ended up, I don't know how you guys felt too. There were still plenty of wide receivers. Like I still got Jalen Waddle in the 5th round after. Like, it was just crazy.
Yeah, they were all being pushed down because of the quarterbacks and the tight ends going early.
Yeah, I mean I think people just grossly overestimate that tight end premium thing sometimes. Where like the great tight ends are still great, awesome. Like and I don't know.
All right, Ryan, you got the 106.
Gosh, I just blanked because we got off attention. I'm really torn here, but I'm picking AJ Brown. I know it's
what's there to be torn about. He's definitely the best guy.
He is like he is. Yeah, I thought about Antonio Gibson, but I just don't like that much.
No, you can't do
that. AJ Brown's so good still, and you know what? It's not like he's going from superstar quarterback to something worse, like we talked about with Hill earlier. He's young. He's going to a good offense. Like he's in a good situation, and he does a lot of that right after catch. So I like him there. And, I don't know why I'm torn. You're right.
Yeah.
I feel like it's just something I have to say.
Jalen Hurts is an underwhelming quarterback. But that's all right. So is Ryan Tannehill.
Yeah.
It's going to be more of the same. Exactly. It's going to be A.J. Brown having to do A.J. Brown work to be A.J. Brown.
Yeah, we all downgraded A.J. Brown. Well, I don't say we all, but as a community, we all downgraded him when he went to the Titans originally. Like, oh, man, this offense is not right for him. And then he balled out. And then we're like, now he's going to the Eagles, this offense, this and that. We're downgrading him again. Like he balled out in Tennessee. He's going to ball out with the Eagles as well.
Right.
Yeah.
All right, Simon, you got the 107.
All right, the 107. Let's take a gander into the Commanders' offense, and let's get Terry McLaurin. I love this kid. He just got an extension, and hopefully it doesn't go to his head, and he keeps continuing to earn that extension. But he keeps getting the targets. He's the number 1 in that offense. Yeah, it's a new quarterback situation, but he's still the guy, and I think he's still going to get his. And so I'll take it based on volume alone. at this point in the draft.
Yeah, I like
Good
that.
value.
I do think that Carson Wentz, as much as you can say, negative things about him, I think he's good enough to support Terry McLaurin. I think he's much better than what they had last year for sure.
Oh, yeah.
Come on.
All right, Joe, you're at 108.
I support everyone negativity on Carson Wentz as much as the next person, but come on. Like, look at the guys who have been playing quarterback there in Washington the last couple of years. I mean, he's better than those guys. I mean, not great, but he's better than those guys. I'm going to go ahead and take Dalton Schultz here. He said tight end premium too, and I love Dalton Schultz in this offense, especially since Gallup is probably going to start the year on the pup. I just think there's a lot of targets out there, and I think he's got a chance to finish top 3 tight end. Like, he's got that kind of upside this year. So he already had the breakout. Now it's just a matter of, well, how high can that ceiling get? It's almost like when you saw Mark Andrews a couple years ago, and we saw what Mark Andrews did last year. Like, Dalton Schultz could, at the end of the year, have that massive tight end season. I mean, you could even paint the picture where he could be tight end 1 if the offense changes and evolves a little bit. And some like the Jalen Tolberts of the world don't come along very quickly. Like, you could see the pattern there that's available for Schultz, and he's been outstanding. You went from a guy that all of us looked at each other and go, who's this guy that's replacing Blake Jarwin? Like, literally all of us do this. I mean, like, even the people who do this for a living were like, Dalton who? Like, we're all trying to figure this out. Right. And people just picked him up. I picked him up, and it's been gangbusters ever since. So give me Dalton Schultz. Let's go.
I like it. Ryan, 109.
I was hoping for Dalton Schultz. I think Antonio Gibson here. I know we kind of said I didn't like him before, but dude, even with bringing back McKissick, taking away the passing game, and drafting Brian Robinson, who's obviously there for a reason, he's still going to get 200 plus carries and enough in the passing game to be viable. Like, he's a top 24 running back. He's just not exciting. I don't think he's the upside he had before. Like, I think you can start him week in, week out. I just don't think he's going to have those huge games that are league winners for you. Like, just consistently good play. Like, he's going to live in that range where David Montgomery lived for those years, and like guys like that.
Yeah, I like how
that's where
everybody points to Ron Rivera being like the committee, sort of coach. They point back to D'Angelo Williams and Jonathan Stewart. He also had Christian McCaffrey, and he gave him like 100% of the snaps. So I don't think it's going to be McCaffrey, and I don't think it's going to be the Jonathan Stewart. Williams. And he's somewhere in the middle there. I think he's still going to be a viable running back in fantasy for sure. All right, 110, Tommy. I'm sorry, 110, Tommy.
At the 110, kind of going back and forth on a couple players here. But this pick, I will go with another guy that I really like as a prospect coming out last year. And he definitely showed he was worth that pick last year for the Eagles. Despite getting A.J. Brown, I actually think it's going to help Devontae Smith out a little bit. We know Jalen Reagor, isn't pulling the targets away, and the coverage away from Smith enough. So I think it actually helped with having A.J. Brown there. Also laughing because you totally forgot to put Jalen Reagor on this list because, like, who cares at that point, right? Like, yeah. Give me Devontae Smith. I really like his ability. I like the offense enough that I know that he's going to get enough targets to be at least a wide receiver 2, in my opinion.
Yeah, I'm with you there. I do think that A.J. Brown helps Devontae Smith there. The volume in that passing game just scares me a little bit, but I do think he's still going to have plenty of fantasy good games. All right, Joe, you got the 111.
Jeff, I'll waive all of my royalty fees if you could spell Jalen Reagor correctly right now.
JalenReagor.
Did he get it, folks?
I think so. I think that's right.
I
mess it up all the time.
All right. It's just too late for me. I'm too tired to check. All right, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take Kadarius Toney. It's all just upside. I mean, it's I struggle because when he got selected, I thought this was like a strange pick, and then I hate the rest of the wide receiving core that the Giants have. I don't think Kenny Golladay is a really good fit for them necessarily. Sterling Shepard has dealt with all those concussion issues, and there was this little window of time where Kadarius Toney just looked like he was just
world beater
in a different universe than everybody else, and he's got that kind of talent. It's just, okay, can he stay on the field? And can he be consistent in the offense? And those are huge question marks. So I'm just literally throwing a dart at the upside of Kadarius Toney because it's fun and because the upside is there. And I'm, again, hoping that the Giants can reconfigure this offense with a real offensive mind. I think Brian Daboll's pretty good at that, and I think he's had a couple years there with Buffalo where he's really proved himself. So I'm excited to see if they can get anything working there. I still think Daniel Jones falls short at the end of the day, but I'm going to give a shot on Kadarius Toney here.
Good stuff. Ryan, you got the back-to-back here with the 112 and the 201. We're going to do rapid fire in the second round so we can get to our forgotten fantasy players. So we're running a little bit long. So, Ryan, give me your 112, and then we'll go rapid fire in the second round.
Cool. I'm hoping Sirianni doesn't hate Miles Sanders this year, because when he plays, he produces efficiently. He doesn't in the air and on the ground. Like, he's a really good player. They just refuse to use him for some reason. It's super frustrating. But I'm going to take that chance here. And I'm going to follow it with Michael Gallup. He's the wide receiver too, and a really good offense. We've talked about a couple guys before. Like, that's what we want, attached to good offenses. And he is their number 2 receiver.
Good stuff. Joe, 202.
Let's take Tony Pollard off the board. Upside, of course, especially he's going to work in this offense regardless. He's going to catch the football. He's the more explosive back. He's the younger back. And, if Zeke falls off further, or if Zeke has an injury, Tony Pollard stands to not get the entire backfield to himself, but he certainly stands to have the most important moments, I think, for him. So that's something that still makes Tony Pollard very worth investing in.
Agreed. Tommy at the 203.
I'll do Dallas Go Dirt. He's proven himself as a pretty decent tight end. He's a tight end 1, so I'll take it.
All right, 204, Ryan.
Carson Wentz. He's a starting quarterback, and the only thing that we know is actually the playing time of what's left.
I like he's the starting quarterback.
He's gonna play efficient football. He doesn't suck. He's the floor.
All right, Joe, you got the 205.
Well, Tommy had the Jets stack, so I guess I'm going for the Giants here. So give me Daniel Jones. Let's go. Let's do it. Just sweep the board. He's more mobile than people give him credit for. And I'm going to try.
Unless he's got the 50-yard direct end zone shot, he just some reason can't make.
He's never going to live that down. And he definitely looks like Lloyd Christmas from Dumb and Dumber. I don't care what anybody tells me.
Yeah. That's awesome. All right, Tommy, you're at the 206.
I'll take the stack with Jalen Tolbert. Give me the rookie. Michael Gallup's going to be out for a little bit, so Tolbert could step in right away and get some targets. And I like that offense, and I like that rookie. He's got some good, potential in this league. I like the style play and his size, and yeah, give me Tolbert.
All right, 207, Ryan.
I'm going back-to-back rookies and taking Jahan Dotson. I love the talent. I think he's electric. He does it all. If you've listened to this show at all, I didn't shut up about him in the offseason, so I don't need to talk about him anymore.
Yeah, he definitely was Ryan's guy this past offseason. So, yeah, Jahan Dotson. And I live here in Washington, D.C., and they're saying good things about him, too. So I definitely think he can be somebody special. 208, Joe.
I'd like to cash in this pick for future considerations. That's what. You know what? Brian Robinson's still on the board. I'll go ahead and take him. A better running back that he gets credit for. Had a good season at Alabama. Just, once again, I'll put stock in the guys who are in good programs and good talents. And Antonio Gibson's had some issues. So, and if they do use him or the two of them together in a similar fashion as the old D'Angelo Williams, Jonathan Stewart, Carolina backfield, then both will be capped, but both will have a floor every week. So Ryan Robinson will become interesting from a fantasy standpoint then in deeper leagues.
I like that pick. I could be getting him in a lot of my drafts late there. I like Robinson. 209, Tommy.
I can't remember if I got Antonio Gibson. Who drafted Antonio Gibson? We're not keeping track.
Ryan, I think.
Ryan.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'll leave your handcuff there.
Reluctantly.
I was like, you could take McKissick. He's still there.
Yeah, like he's gonna catch some targets, so it's worth it. I guess give me Tony 2.0. Give me Wan'Dale Robinson. The guy's shifty. He has like some ability to make something happen. Who knows? Just going for upside here.
All right, Ryan 210. You taking your handcuff here with McKissick?
I'm taking my other handcuff and Kenny Gainwell. I love Gainwell. I love his flash he's shown. He can do a lot of what Sanders does. So when Sanders misses his normal 4 to 6 games a year, Gainwell plugs right in.
All right, then Joe, your last pick here at the 211.
Oh God, does it matter? It's like, do you take Boston Scott or J.D. McKissick, who are going to be on the waiver wire anyway, or do you take Kenny Golladay or Sterling Shepard, who's going to be hurt? I'll just take Kenny Golladay because maybe he'll catch some touchdowns, and maybe that's it. I got nothing. Sorry.
It's all good. That's about all you can do down here at the bottom. We got the AFC and NFC West next week. I think that's going to be quite a bit better than some of the other ones we've done. That's where a lot of talent is wrapped up in. All right, finishes out here, Tommy. 212.
Oh man, I can't believe I got sniped on the last pick. I want to Kenny Galladay too, because at least he's a contested catch receiver that's really good at contested catches. I don't know, something, right? We're grasping at straws. J.D. McKissick, yeah, he catches passes.
Yeah,
and plays.
Yep, I can't argue that logic at all.
Hard doing analysis here on the Going for Two Live Network tonight. He plays quarterback. He's a starter. That's basically the Carson Wentz one. All right, so let's go ahead and get to our last segment.
Get ready for goingfor2.com's Forgotten Fantasy Player of the Week.
All right, so Joe's been on the show before and given us a few forgotten fantasy players. So we're going to start with you, Tommy. So give us your forgotten fantasy player.
Ooh, okay. Mine's not super old, but it's at a position that no one really cares about. So it's a tight end. But I love this guy. It's like the first guy I thought about when you're like a forgotten fantasy player. Like, who did I just really love that I loved having on my team every single year? Even past his prime, I kept loving him that much. And that's Martellus Bennett. I love that dude. I love that dude, not just for a fantasy player, but as like who he is, like the kind of football player he is. I wasn't exactly the same way, but I was kind of the same way. Like, we're here to play ball and we're about that action. Like, that's why I love beast mode, Marshawn Lynch, right? So it was the same kind of thing. And for a while, I mean, fantastic mid to late round tight end, 2013, 2016. He was like a top, perennial tight end one. And besides those fantasy performances, there's that one interview that he had where he totally got in a fight. And I think it was like Brandon Marshall tried to like step to him. He's like, "Oh, you're a 12-time Pro Bowler." We're like, well, sometimes you get knocked out too. Like, what's up? Like, it's just that attitude. I always love that guy's swagger. And I always, I think no one really talks about tight ends. So I just had to bring that one up.
I like it. I like it. And we've been doing this segment for 4 years now, and we have not had him before. So great pull.
Nice.
All right, Joe, what you got for your forgotten fantasy player?
Well, since we just did the NFC East, it got me thinking. I'm going to take you back in the Wayback Machine to 2010. And one of my favorite team names, based on a great season by Hakeem Nicks, a forgotten wide receiver by the Giants, who had 128 targets, 133 targets, and then kind of just disappeared. 1,000 yards back-to-back, he had 11 touchdowns in 2010. And I had one of my favorite team names ever, which was, where was Hakeem? From Coming to America, and it was a picture of Eddie. It was a picture of Eddie Murphy for a while, and then I changed it to the picture of King Jafar of James Earl Jones in the huge lion thing, saying "Where is Hakeem?" So there you go, Hakeem Nicks. Awesome. You like that?
He goes right along with your giant stack that you just came out of.
I stay on brand. That's what I do.
Good stuff. All right, fellas. Appreciate y'all coming on the show tonight. We'll go round robin here. Plug what you want to plug and give us your Twitter handle one more time. We'll go to you first, Joe.
All right. Joe Pisapia 17 is on the Twitter machine. And you can check me out doing all the Fantasy Pros podcasts and videos and everything else you can imagine. Also get the Fantasy Football Black Book 2022 out there on Amazon. Good stuff. This was great fun, guys. Thanks for having me on. This was a fun way to talk about players, to draft them and have a little bit of it. I like this format. I'm not saying I'm stealing it, but I'm not saying I'm not. So,
all right, Tommy, what you got?
Yeah, thanks guys for having me on. Tommy Mo at 2on1FFB. You can find all of our exclusive content at the Undroppables, theundroppables.com, on Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, wherever. You can catch me dancing my ass off on TikTok almost every day, especially when we get into the season. We'll definitely be hitting those waivers. Make sure you join and follow our Unbets account, where our guy Brian is hitting it every week with great picks on Prize Picks. So join the Discord channel and get in there and win money with Undroppables. And again, thanks for having us on, Joe. It's great talking to you and potting with you. And this was fun.
Yeah, good stuff. Ryan.
Find me Twitter, Fox534. Find me here every Wednesday night Going for Two. Find me over at the Rookie Big Board. We do our podcast Dynasty Big Board on Wednesdays as well.
All right. And as always, guys, you can follow me on Twitter at JeffLambert77. And you can follow all of our shows here on the Going for Two Live Network. We got some big things planned for the season coming up. We do have one more show, like I mentioned. The AFC and NFC West is going to be next week. And then me and Ryan are going to go on vacation. So for 2 weeks, we won't be here. We'll be returning August 17th. So make sure you check us out then. We'll be doing some redraft stuff. I think a redraft mock draft possibly. So For Joe, for Tommy, for Ryan, I'm Jeff. We'll see y'all next week.